Good afternoon, everyone, children everywhere, all those involved with the awesome organization Raising a Reader, and all children listening. My name is Monica Brown, and I am so excited to share this little story time with you and read my book called Maya's Blanket, La Manta de Maya, and it's illustrated by David Diaz, written by me, Monica Brown, and published by Lee and Low. I hope you enjoy. It's about a little girl named, you guessed it, Maya, and her very favorite blanket. Little Maya Morales had a special manta that she loved very much. The blanket was blue and green with purple butterflies that Abuelita had stitched with her own 2 hands when Maya was just a baby. Maya slept under her manta every night, and it kept her cozy and warm, and her manta was magical too. It protected her from bad dreams. But after a while, Maya's manta became frayed around the edges. So with her own 2 hands and her abuelita's help, and abuelita means grandmother in English, Maya made her manta into a vestido, a dress that she loved very much. She wore the dress to her cousin's quinceañera. The purple butterflies whirled and swirled as Maya danced with her friends. When Maya twirled so fast that she got dizzy, her magical vestido didn't let her fall. But by accident, Maya spilled a glass of red punch on the front of her vestido. No matter what she and Abuelita tried, they couldn't get the stain out. So with her own 2 hands and Abuelita's help, Maya made her vestido, that was her manta, into a falda, a skirt that she loved very much. She wore the skirt to the park, and it bounced as she hopped and skipped rope with her friends. With her magical falda, Maya could jump higher than anyone else. But as Maya grew and stretched towards the sky, her falda became too small. So with her own 2 hands and Abuelita's help, Maya made her falda, that was her vestido, that was her manta, into a rebozo that she loved very much. And rebozo means shawl in Spanish. She wore the shawl when she and her friends played games in the backyards, and her magical rebozo never left anyone out. But after one fierce tug-of-war, Maya's rebozo ripped in 2. So, with her own 2 hands and Abuelita's help, Maya made her rebozo, that was her falda, that was her vestido, that was her manta, into a bufanda that she loved very much. She wore the scarf on cold, windy days, and her magical bufanda kept her from blowing away. But after a couple of winters, Maya's bufanda was old and worn. It was falling apart before her very eyes. So, what do you think happens? So with her own 2 hands and Abuelita's help, Maya made her bufanda, that was her rebozo, that was her falda, that was her vestido, that was her manta, into a cinta that she loved very much. Maya wore the ribbon tied around her long brown hair whenever she played soccer. Her magical cinta helped her score many goals. But when Maya had her hair cut short, she didn't need a cinta anymore. So With her own two hands and Abuelita's help, Maya made her cinta, that was her bufanda, that was her rebozo, that was her falda, that was her vestido, that was her manta, into a marcador de libros that she loved very much. Maya always read before going to bed, and at night her magical bookmark slept between the pages of her favorite books. But one day, Maya lost her marcador de libros. That was her cinta, that was her bufanda, that was her rebozo, that was her falda, that was her vestido, that was her manta. Maya was very sad. She looked everywhere, but the marcador de libros was nowhere to be found. Most of all, she missed the magic. Maya didn't know what else to do, so she sat and thought. And then she had an idea. Maya made up a story about the marcador de libros, the cinta, the bufanda, the rebozo, the falda, and the vestido that had come from her beautiful blue and green manta with the purple butterflies that Abuelita had stitched with her own two hands. Maya remembered and wrote and drew all her adventures and made them into a libro. She called her book. Can you guess what she named her book? Can you guess? She called her book Maya's Blanket, La Manta de Maya. And she found magic on every page. And when Maya grew up, she had a little daughter whom she loved very much. And after her daughter was in bed, Maya read to her. Maya's daughter listened and laughed and snuggled. First of all, do you see what book her daughter's reading? It's the one Maya created from her memory. And we're reading that book too in our make-believe world under her own special magical manta. So now we see Maya's daughter snuggling under her own magical manta, and the story continues. And I have in the back of this book a little glossary, but I have a few questions too for you. I say, what if the objects we love, blankets and stuffed animals and dolls and toys, never leave us? I'd like you to think creatively about how you can recycle and reuse your favorite well-worn treasures. And if you can't reuse them in a craft project, then you can recycle them using your imagination. Create a poem or a song or even your very own book. I hope you enjoyed this story time, and I hope you're snuggling under your very own special magical manta.